You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire Uterus community, and I'm one of your hosts, Wanzo.
And I'm your other host, Sean Paul Leek.
Together we are
Rope Break.
How's every single you family? We hope that all of you are having a great time, and we're going to be talking about SmackDown. Welcome to everybody that is following us on YouTube, on Facebook. We're going to be talking about this show that it wasn't that bad. A few of a little bit of hype for what is going to be Hell in a Cell. So interesting stuff. Some of the same matches, different winners. So we're going to be talking about everything. What do you think, Paul?
I mean, besides I guess the feud that's actually so far, whether you care about the teams or not, it's actually been presented pretty good, and that's the Street Profits and the Alpha Academy. Besides that feud and obviously everything in the main event scene with Roman and now the Mysterios, like you said, the rest of the show is kind of just the same old matchups. It's stuff we're not really interested in. But, I mean, that mid-card tag team feud aside, the main thing carrying SmackDown is Roman Reigns and the two storylines going on with that. Roman Reigns and the Mysterios, and Roman Reigns against
with
Jimmy Usos.
Yeah, with the Oos, well, what's up, Oos? Hey, Oos. Oos the word. Oos. So thank you for being with us, one more time. Thank you for everything that you do for this show. Thank you for the support on this video.
Yes.
Meiko Satomura became the brand new NXT UK Women's Champion, so we're really excited. And thank you for all the reception. It was amazing. Thank you for the subscriptions, for all the support that we feel. So NXT UK is our flagship show. We're gonna keep talking about it because it's the one show that gets us really excited, right, Paul?
Yeah. Well, what do we say? It's the best show in WWE, and it's one of the best videos here on Rope Break. So check this out. This episode was fantastic. We saw some stuff leading into the next couple of weeks. Who is it? Sam Gradwell versus Wolfgang. We saw stuff going on there. Good win for the Irish Ace, but the main thing was here, Meiko Satomura, Kaylee Ray, 25 minutes, fantastic action, great winner, Meiko Satomura. Interesting to see what they're going to do with her moving forward.
Exactly, and thank you to everybody one more time, and then hey to Dog Masters, our boy, pretty boy Dog Masters. How
pretty
you doing,
boy.
man? We hope you're doing fine, and thank you for supporting us. So, Paul, tell me a little bit about this SmackDown that started out with Roman Reigns. Remember, we Jey Uso, all of that, and this is when we don't get any viewership. No. No, this is actually good. You see how bad they're at each other. It's you understand I don't like failure. You understand that you're embarrassing the family, right? Yeah, you do. But your brother Jimmy doesn't. So they're going at each other, and you see finally Jey not aligning with the viewer, what Roman Reigns is have to say. You see that he's pissed off. He feels in between the brother and the cousin. So pretty good stuff. The family affair continues, right?
Yeah, and this is good. This is what you need to start with because you showed, like you said, that what happened last week, Roman, beating down the Mysterios and everything. And Roman is a master manipulator, though, to go back to one of the great series we always like to mention here, Dark Side of the Ring. You talked about how Grizzly Smith was a master manipulator.
Yes.
Roman, he has that master manipulating ability too, especially here with Jey Uso. He's like, do you see what your brother did? Do you see what he makes me do? Do you see, I did this to protect you. He's all twisting the narrative here. So Jey, keeps believing him. And it's good because Jey's eventually going to snap because he's been being pulled in two directions. He's being pulled to Roman. He's being pulled to Jimmy. He doesn't know what to do. So he's going to snap.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you use that analogy. We'll watch that episode with Grizzly Smith. For the mature audiences, really good. But if you have kids and everything, don't not let them watch that. But here Roman is just pretty much blaming Jimmy for all of this. It's your brother is tearing us apart. It's actually embarrassing the family. I like that, and you see probably Jey wants to go with the brother, but he knows that being with Roman is gotten to the point that he's main event and all of that. So you see that, and before he's allowed to finish, we get to see Jimmy, and Jimmy's actually out in the ring, and he's just talking and saying, what, because of Roman, we didn't win the championships. So he says, hey, you know what, pretty much talking to Jey. He's we need to be the best tag team. Right now, we would have been 7-time tag team champions if it wasn't for Roman. Roman knows that we could have done the job, but unfortunately, he was the one that cost in the match. So he's calling out Roman. He's not aligned with the vision. Really cool stuff. And, right there, he leaves the ring. What do you think about this whole segment? Yeah. Because to me, it's progressing the storyline really, really well.
Yeah, and this was good. And this is exactly one of the things we brought up last week, too. He said, is Roman, did he do this to protect Jimmy and Jay so they wouldn't get pinned, or did he do it because he's jealous and he wants to be the only one in the family holding gold?
Yes.
And that's what Jimmy said here. He's like, you're just jealous of us. He's like, pretty much called him. He somehow got to like calling him a bitch. I forget how he got there, but just like the end of this promo, Jimmy was super fired up about that line, saying like he's not worried about him. He doesn't want to protect the family. He's jealous of them because they were gonna win, like you said, be 7-time tag champs. They were gonna hold gold. Roman didn't want that, and he pretty much said, Roman, he's gonna do something, that he's not gonna regret. If Roman's going to step up to him. So he kind of just, challenged Roman. Like the commentators were saying, Roman has to deal with Rey Mysterio at some point. He has to deal with Jimmy. So it's like, what's the tribal chief going to do?
Oh yeah, it's like a good like story, and like you said, it's breaking off now because now you got the Mysterios also because we were going to be champs, but because of you, we're not. So
Yeah.
you see like this whole thing. So and Jimmy is really secure of himself. Very different than the Jimmy Uso that we saw when they were champs. Jay also is like showing more character. That's the one thing that I'm liking, that all three of them are actually like showing
and
their true selves.
the best thing I noticed is obviously it's because they're family, but all their interactions seem so real. It's not like when you see other people, sometimes they interact and it's like, so, and it's like, it's clearly acting, it's clearly bullshit. But this, even when they showed the highlights when he's beating up Dominic, he's like, all right, Oos, like, he had enough, like, let him go, and he just didn't do it.
Exactly.
And it all seems real. It doesn't seem like fake.
Exactly. And, please, family, comment and let us know what you guys feel about the show. Did you like it? Did you didn't like it? Let us know how you guys feel about this SmackDown. And, after that, there's a promo between the two of them. And you see more interaction, like you were saying. Like you see, like how like he's trying to get in Jay's head. Hey, he's like, Ooze, what happened? We were gonna be champs, and like that like he cost us the match. It's him. He's the one that is actually breaking up the family. So he's talking just negative against Roman. And Jay's like, come on, man. He's like, I'm tired of this. He's like really like, I'm tired. Like you talk to me about this guy. The other guy talks about you. So like he's like, leave me alone. So like you see Jay pretty much he's like really conflicted. And that's the one thing that, like, I feel that, like, it's going to enhance the storyline a little bit more because, like, who is he going to favor? Or he's just going to go on his own, So that was cool.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's so good about, whenever we say there's a storyline that it really gets us thinking, what are they going to do? There's all these different options and outcomes that could happen. That's when you really get attached to it. Not when they give you these stupid storylines like, oh, this is what's going to happen. Nobody cares. This is good. And I think it's going to, hopefully I want to see the Usos, split off, but I think they might, have to all go their separate ways, before they come back together.
Oh yeah, no, I feel that like they're gonna like still supposedly like they're gonna keep having this storyline going because like everybody's just like really enchanted with this. They love this.
And you know what? And so far they've been writing it good. So I mean, I wouldn't rush to an ending. I would keep as long as you can keep writing good material for it, keep it going because it's the best thing on this show.
It's the only thing that is carrying out this show, and it's the only thing that's actually helping this show not to be Monday Night Raw. You know that because you cover it. Thank you that you do that.
Of course.
But like it's just like that's if this show wouldn't have this like storyline, it will be almost as bad as that.
Yeah.
Because it took us like what 25 minutes, and then we get to the first match, and this is like a tag match that we have here, like Kevin Owens and Big E going against Apollo Crews and Sami Zayn. More of the same, right? Unfortunately, the Intercontinental picture is really, really outdated. It's just these four guys that like they had the match already. And, I just feel that, like, they should have separate feuds. And Big E, unfortunately, Aleister Black being just, like, released, that didn't help his cause. So now he has to come back to the Intercontinental picture.
Well, yeah. I mean, this match was just thrown together, these past couple of weeks when Aleister Black, he got released. And that was a big, he was a big piece in this Intercontinental picture. I'm sure he was eventually going to probably go after Apollo Crews or something like that. Or, who knows? But he was definitely going to be a pivotal piece. He's no longer there. What do? Clearly, they don't know what they're going to do, as evident, to seeing Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, that's still continuing full steam ahead. And you just throw all these participants in. I saw a meme online where it's like, oh, great. Now we're going to see another, 10 weeks of Apollo Crews versus Big E. And, so far, this is week number 1 because, we're right back at it. I don't really care for this. I don't care for any of these two guys feuding, in the two feuds I mentioned. I don't care if you mix any of them up. I don't want to see these four guys in the ring, in the same time. But unfortunately, this is the entire mid card. Besides the other feud of Nakamura and Corbin, which we'll get to later, I'm already done with that. Like I said, the only thing really on this show that like has my interest is everything with Roman Reigns.
Exactly, like you said, it's unfortunately because like these guys can actually do so much better, but the fact that like they're not able to like be in separate feuds, separate storylines, they need to be breaked up out of this picture. Sami Zayn, especially because every single time that there's something like this, he gets the pin, and it's annoying because the guy has so much talent. And in October you didn't see him like this. He was the Intercontinental Champion. He was having good matches with Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles, and look at him now, losing every single time. He gets the lowest end of the stick, and it's annoying. I mean, match quality is pretty decent. Big E, Apollo Crews, we've seen this so many times since WrestleMania season. Kevin Owens is fine. Unfortunately, like, he's lost. This guy, like, when he got the feud with Roman, was great, but unfortunately, see the outcome of all this feud, all this good material that he gave us, nothing. He gets throwing in this to like this icy stuff. Not nobody cares about. So it's really annoying, and I feel that you're just wasting talent. And Apollo Crews doesn't even look like a convincing champion for me.
Yeah, that's the thing with Apollo Crews is, you had him out there with Aziz and all that stuff, and it's like, okay, you can get that over, but now just the way that they're muddying him with these tag team feuds and just, Aziz gets involved, all this stuff, we've been seeing this past couple weeks. It really doesn't make him feel like a legit champion, especially when he keeps feuding with the same guys. Because, how a champion feels legit when he beats a guy, it's dominant, he moves on to the next guy. And, even though Apollo Crews does sometimes get some good dominant wins, unfortunately, he doesn't look strong. And especially here, Sami Zayn getting pinned. And then you have him, oh, you didn't pin me. You pinned Sami Zayn. Again, it's just, he looks like a loser by association by being here with Sami Zayn.
Exactly. Like, and, he gets the stunner, like Kevin Owens, that 1, 2, 3, like you said, he gets the win. And he says, you want to do the thing that you just beat me? Okay, well, let's try to do this next week. Same thing, you two against me and Commander Aziz. So, like, this is going to be more of the same, annoying, boring. Please change it up. Give us some more creativity here. Give me more enticing storylines, Come on, like, you want me to fall asleep through this? Come on, I'm never going to do this because of every single one of you, family. But it's pretty, it's pretty sad that you got to see the same thing. And we also want to say hi to our boy Tom Livel. Happy Friday, fellas. Happy Friday, Tom. How you doing? So yeah, it is really annoying that like these things don't, like the IC picture should be like, why don't you have a feud every single month with every single one of them?
What do you think? Kevin. And what do you think of the tag match then announced for next week?
I know,
or whenever. It's like,
so Apollo is gonna win because now Aziz is gonna be by him, and then he got like the Nigerian Spike or someone Spike onto like Sami Zayn. So there you go. You know what I mean? Like it's not enticing anymore, and especially Sami Zayn wasting that talent is awful.
And we see so many people complain to Adam Pearce. I don't know why Apollo Crews can't be like, you know what, Sami Zayn, you cost me this match. I'm sick of being associated with losers. And he's like, Adam Pearce, stop putting me in these tag matches. Give me credible opponents. I'm sick of Sami Zayn. I'm sick of Kevin Owens. I'm sick of Big E. And, then Adam Pearce has to, bring him a credible opponent.
Exactly.
Do something with that. And then, wrap up this Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn thing, move Big E onto somebody else. But unfortunately, you don't have anybody else.
No,
because this roster
anybody.
Doesn't know how to build anybody. But see, that's the thing. You had somebody else in Aleister Black. Where is he? Gone.
There's a report that like a lot of people within the WWE backstage are pushing for him to be rehired. So what do you think? Should they do that? Or if you're Aleister Black, do you go back to the WWE?
I would have to have some kind of like, now this will never happen. So I don't know why I'm saying it, but some kind of written thing in the contract where it's like, I have to win at least the Intercontinental title, or, I'm subject to like this much, like $5 million. You know what I mean? Like some kind of penalty, like I'm winning the belt. I'm guaranteed
creative control, some kind of creative control.
Yeah, like, I'm guaranteed. Yeah, I'm guaranteed this many episodes of TV a year. Blah, 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 like some kind of, because it's like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. If he goes back and they don't do anything with him and they cut him again in 6 months, then he looks like a loser.
Exactly. And Tom says, Tommy N, yeah, like, if I'm Aleister Black, I'm like, you know what, screw you guys. You guys release me, I'm not coming back. Let me just enjoy myself.
But the only thing, I mean, if you really think about it, and he's really smart. Not that he's like, oh, I'll just go to AEW because Tony Khan's going to give me, millions and millions of dollars. If he looks and goes, Christian doesn't really look that legit. Like, yeah, okay, Miro looks good for now, but like, man,
how long?
Yeah, but like a lot of other guys really don't look good. It's not serious. Aleister Black can probably see that this isn't really serious. I want to do something that's serious. he might go to like a downgrade and go to like an MLW, or maybe if he's fine with it, go to Japan. Because we always say go to Japan, but that's a huge lifestyle change.
Yes.
That's not moving from like California to like Seattle or to Texas. You're going to a whole nother country.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he's fine with doing that, that's a little bit more serious than AEW. So who knows? I'd love to see him in like MLW or something, but we just got to
It
wait
all
and
depends to me, what do you want of your career, or you want to just be comfortable with money? Those two things sometimes align, but some other times you just gotta like sacrifice one or the other. So for example, if you want money and you want maybe, just live in Jacksonville, okay, go to AEW. Hey, maybe they will treat you right. They will use some kind of creative thing for you. Okay, fine. If you want to be legit and you want to be like, like really come back as a great wrestler, go to Japan. That's because that legitimizes you more than anything. Everybody says how you can become legit. Go to Japan. If you don't believe us, watch the Dynamite Kid episode. Of Dark Side of the Ring, right there. Every single one. If you want to learn the ins and outs of professional wrestling, go to Japan. So unfortunately, we'll see what happens. But like this title picture in the Intercontinental side is really bad, because also like Aleister Black was going to refresh that. They didn't do it. So there you go. So Adam Pearce, like Rey Mysterio is right there complaining about it. You see, he's really mad. He's like, hey, Roman disrespected me. He beat up my kid. I'm the dad. I'm just pissed off. I want to call him out. I want to, get an answer from Roman Reigns. So Adam Pearce is like, yeah, sure, that's fine. We need an opponent because Roman doesn't have anybody out of this point. Let's going to do it. So that's what we're going to do. And then we got to see this way we're supposed to face each other as in tag team action. It was Chad Gable and Otis against the Street Profits. It didn't happen. They just pretty much split up in singles matches. They said that Otis is upset still. Hey, I'm still on an apology by you. All of that. Angelo Dawkins and Onso Montez Ford. They say, hell, there's not going to be an apology. So they just have the match. And then Angelo is like, why don't we face each other in single? But Montez Ford is the one that gets this stuff. What did you think? I mean, to me, like you said, it's actually good stuff, but I'm not really invested in it.
Yeah, unless the match itself was really good. Of course, the ending I was fine with it just because it needed to happen to like prolong this feud. But they gave it a video package, like, boom, you saw what happened. They kind of like hyped you up, got you familiarized. And if you're gonna do that for a feud, you obviously care about it. And
yes.
Two, a lot of people like the Street Profits. They're super popular. That's why they're in the commercials with Ric Flair, or they used to be the Skittles one, whatever it was, but they are Snickers. Well, it don't matter.
Yeah,
but,
it was both. It was both.
Yeah, but them being so popular and being in a feud with Alpha Academy, it only elevates Chad Gable. It only elevates Otis, who, they're really good wrestlers, but they're not as popular. They're not as mainstream as the Street Profits. So hopefully this gets, this team elevated in the popularity. And, the match was really good. I think Montez Ford, they said he actually did wrestle in high school. And obviously Gable was an Olympian wrestler. So this match was really good from that standpoint. But then, then we see Otis, and, Otis caused the DQ and everything. And, that keeps the feud going. Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, don't shave, especially
I
when
love it. Yeah, it looks so different.
Especially,
if you're going to be healed, you need like a look.
Look.
So it was good. I don't mind it.
But with this, because you didn't want to do the tag match, because that should be the blow off. That should be, the last match should be a tag match. So you see Otis here, he comes out, maybe do, if Montez, if the beatdown wasn't that bad, but Montez could have sold it and been out for a week or two, and then Angelo Dawkins could have went 1-on-1 with Otis next week and lose to Otis, and then okay, you get some heat, then you do the tag match. But this was good for Otis, good for Gable, and I actually don't mind this. Because like you said, it builds, like, look at the way that they present Otis is just, is good. This is what he needed. This is when he should have, which sometimes if you have the hot girl, it takes away some of your heat as a heel, but this is when he should have Mandy in the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Oh yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And you know what? Like outside, remember, Braun Strowman was the monster among men, right? Mm-hmm. Who else can you be like the next monster in the WWE?
And you want to know how you could have got here and made it even better? When Otis had Mandy and he had the briefcase, he could have cashed in, got pinned, looked like a loser. Mandy could have dumped him, and then he could have got pissed off and angry. Chad Gable, hey, hey Otis, come on, I'll help you out,
We'll be legit with you, let's help you out. So like Steven Butler's in the house. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing fine. Canada's own. Our fella, I hope you enjoyed the episode of the Dynamite Kid. really great stuff. And he says, Otis looks meaner with a clean shaven face. He should keep this look. Yeah, like I said, like if you're gonna be a heel, change your look. It looks a little better, and like the splash that he does is really devastating. So selling that, I like that, and like you said, like Montez Ford and Chad Gable, what a great match! If they will have like the cruiserweight championship here, you know what I mean? Some kind of title or anything, a division like this. If they will have matches like guys like the same like physique and everything, that will enhance the show. That will be like, it's bad to say WCW the cruiserweights, but it looked like the same.
And also, what have we? This just adds another, just kind of like check our check mark in the column where we always say, isn't Montez Ford, when this team splits up, if they ever split up, how great he'll be as a single star?
Sean, he will be Sean. I'm sorry, Marty. Maybe we will see Marty pretty soon, but I'm sorry. Like, a lot of people love Marty Jannetty. Hey, he's really cool, but like in this case, you see like Montez Ford has like already like he's in a different level than Angelo Dawkins. I'm sorry, but it is the truth. So that was a really good match, and good for Otis, good for the Alpha Academy. They have at least, they don't fight for the titles, but at least it's a nice, interesting feud. So that's really cool to know. There you go. We got to see Roman Reigns, and he wants to go see Jimmy, and he's like, no, he's not coming here. We got to see him, and you got to go see him in his own dressing room. So like, okay, so Roman is like, so really? Like, I got to go see him? You know who I am, tribal chief, head of the table, all of that. Is like, I got to go see him into his dressing room. Okay, well, let's go to do that. So you see the tension keeps building between the two. And like you said, Paul, this is really important that like this storyline carries the whole show. And every single thing that they do is just to enhance this storyline. So I'm really happy with this. I've never been a big fan of Roman, but at least in the light that he's being presented, I like this, how the way it's going. So what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is, there's really just, we sound like a broken record, but this is, the only thing really carrying SmackDown. All that, Roman, his acting is paying off, and we're getting to, in my opinion, the best promo, leading up the segments, but when Roman and, Jimmy had their war of words.
Exactly. Like Pato is in the house, o Pato, mi amigo. ¿Cómo estás? Gracias. Yeah, Pato is in the house. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Thank you very much for being with us. And this is like this is like what, SmackDown Rematch Mania or something? And Liv Morgan one more time against the most beautiful woman in the WWE, and that is Carmella. So you knew this, Paul, that when they started the match, it's like she's not going to lose one more time unless she's going to be released next Wednesday. I hope that's not the case, but in this one, Oblivion 1, 2, 3, and done. And Carmella is just selling the storyline now that she's the most beautiful woman in the WWE. Do we really care about this? Maybe no. For Liv, I want the push. Like that she's been getting a little better in the ring, but like Mary character development is not there yet. But at least she got to win. That's everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only thing, that to really care about with this is Liv got the win. And maybe this is supposed to be the same thing as Montez or the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. This is just supposed to be a mid-card feud, hopefully lead to something, But what are they fighting over? Who's the most beautiful woman? My vote goes to Liv, but
yes, my vote goes to Liv too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're fighting for. None of them really say. I guess with Carmella they did a little bit. Oh, she was a former champ. She wants to be back in that position or something. But Liv cut.
McAfee also said she's really decorated. All the Money in the Bank, a SmackDown champion, and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, just I don't know. I feel like they should be a little bit more like, hey, if I win this, hey, I beat Liv should win again, and then be like, I beat a former women's champion, Money in the Bank winner. I want a shot at Bianca.
Yes.
And then when Bianca's done with Bayley, you do that match or something.
That is something that WWE doesn't do, and like you said, it's really important. Is they drop the ball on the implications of a loss and a win.
Yeah.
Because nothing happens. It's like, yeah, okay. Next week we're gonna go again. But what's the implications? Hey, if I win, I can maybe be in contention. Maybe I can just challenge Bayley, that is the second or number one contender, something like that. So that way also you mix the storylines, and at least you're fighting for something. And they don't do that in the WWE, so that's fine. But at least Liv got the win. Don't be surprised if next week they fight again. Just saying.
And hopefully Carmella doesn't win, because otherwise then it's just
Widow's Battle or the Code of Silence. That's what it is. Code and done. So let's go to Ding Dong, Paul. Ding ding. We're gonna hear from Bayley. She's gonna have Seth Rollins as the guest. And what did you think about this whole thing? To me, it was a little better. Two heels, and you can see the chemistry that Bayley and Seth Rollins had with each other. So at least in this one, he looked better than the one that he had in the interview with Kayla Braxton last week. Of course, he's playing character. He's not a dick to Kayla Braxton, but at least was way better than we want to see last week.
Yeah, I like this. It was good. Like you said, you had him hamming it up. He's just like, oh, I'm on a real show with a real interviewer. So, I'm more than glad to answer your questions, all this stuff. And, as they were going through it, I'm like, okay, all right. But then as soon as, they showed the clip with Cesaro and, beating, when he was beating up Cesaro, I thought, okay, maybe if this segment ends with Cesaro coming back and kicking off this feud. Otherwise, what was the point of this? I'm like, there needs to be, because you know that this really isn't going to further Bayley and Bianca. Because why would you involve Seth Rollins into that? So clearly, this is to further the Seth Rollins Cesaro feud. So I'm like, we need to see Cesaro. Otherwise, what's the point of this? And then exactly. I love when like Cesaro actually rings the doorbell. And then he's like, you know what, Bayley, you've been such a great host to me, all this stuff. He's like, you just sit there. I'll open the door. Don't worry. And then, he opens the door, then it's Cesaro. So, I mean, that was like, I laughed. I mean, I'm not like, oh, that was the funniest thing I ever saw. But, I had a little chuckle with that. And, this looked good for Cesaro. He destroyed the set, just, beat up Rollins and everything. And, this is a feud. I don't know. I thought they were going to see the blur bar first. Like, is this going on? Is this Val Venis? Choppy.
Hello, ladies. So there you go. And like you said, he took care of him, and he destroys the whole set. And our friend Steven Butler says this, Paul, and we're going to confirm here. Did you guys notice that when Bayley started her show, the on-screen graphic identified her as WWE champion Brock Lesnar? They took over right away. They didn't took it right away for road break, because right there it is. WWE champion Brock Lesnar alongside Paul Heyman. So, I mean, if WWE is making this kind of mistakes, they don't really care about the show. Do they have a guy that is brand new in his first day?
Somebody make that now in WWE 2K20. Put like Bayley's head on Brock Lesnar's body.
Yes, it's one of the glitches, So clearly they have not fixed that. So thank you, Steven, for noticing that. We noticed it too. We have it for the whole family. Right there it is, Like this is the new champion, Brock Lesnar. I didn't know that Brock Lesnar got like really, really hot like that all of a sudden. But like you said, the epic, like this segment was actually better. The laughing, between Bayley and Seth Rollins was even more convincing than anything. Seth Rollins, you see, this character development here look a lot better. I like that. Bayley actually got him even better when it comes to the laughing, between the two of them, the interactions, and then how do you remember they go serious and then
oh yeah. It shows like we said, Bayley last week was like a Batman villain. Rollins even said, how did you get up on all the screens? And he wanted to know her secret and all that stuff. But they're both mentally insane.
Yes, and after Cesaro, Bayley's really pissed off because Cesaro completely destroyed the whole set of the Ding Dong show. But then Bianca comes out, and they reverse the roles. And then Bianca is the one laughing her ass off, is because she knows when they put the Brock Lesnar thing, that's why she's laughing. That's the only reason that she's laughing, because she knew the graphic, it was all messed up. And then Bayley, so this to me, I didn't like this. Why? Because now she looks weak, and she's the heel. She even though Bianca's laughing, what does it matter? She should be the one laughing too, play it off instead of so now she looks concerned. How are you gonna go concerned into a championship match?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think is they have one more week, till the go home. Obviously, next week's the go home show. Maybe that's when Bayley gets the heat. She stands tall. Heel stands, looks dominant going into the pay-per-view. Usually that means the babyface is going to go over. That's how I see him doing it. But otherwise, yeah, like you said, Bayley looks like a loser. And it's like, if she's just going to lose, that's not a good look for her.
No, exactly. You know what I mean? Because she's been laughing. She's the one that is has the control. She's in control of the whole story. Now, so I'm afraid. What the hell? That's the only, little detail right there that I didn't like. Let's go to a guy that we all of us love, and he's just cutting a promo. Roman, her, my child, and, he will say, you did this to my son, so I'm coming after you. I'm going to, show you what I'm capable of, and I'm going to show you, you don't treat my family the way you treat your family. So good stuff right there, because Ray is actually acknowledging how manipulative Roman Reigns can be, and all he acknowledges all the crap that is going on between the Usos and him. So that was cool, and I like it. And what do you think of it? Rey Mysterio finally going another one for a championship opportunity. That's cool. Yeah. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I mean, really good fired up promo by Rey Mysterio. Like you say, my son's my only reason, for being, I want to take care of him. I made him that promise the day he was born, all this stuff. So, really good fired up promo from Rey Mysterio. And, like you said, this is definitely going to probably be, and we saw now it is confirmed, going to be the match at Hell in a Cell against Roman Reigns. I don't know if did they say for sure it's for the
They
title
didn't
or is it
confirm
just
it that he called him out. We're going to talk about a little more once we get
yeah
there to the main event, but at least, you see that, like, Rey Mysterio, the report were like that they needed a challenger. Rey, are you in hand? Like, are you going to be with Juan for his birthday? No, he's fine. We don't really talk. It's fine. So, like, they're just going to, like, have this match, and it's okay because, Rey, of course, is going to be a main event player when they want him to be. The only
yes.
thing is, like, like, he's not looking too strong where going into, like, this feud, but it's okay. He's calling him out. So, good stuff. I feel that, like, he's going to enhance Roman even better because, the match quality is going to be really good. So that's fine. That's good enough. Something that is not good, Paul, is this. Why are we going to see this one more time for the 4th week in a row? Shinsuke Nakamura against King Corbin. I don't like this at all, and especially, like, with Rick Boops or Boogs. Like, once again, I'm not, like, for week 1, good. Week 2, okay, I'm still there. Week 3, you're starting to lose me. Week 4, I'm out. I don't want to see this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, and I feel like it's taking the legitimacy away from Nakamura. Not that he had any left, but, you started this feud, you put him with Rick Boogs, you did all this stuff, and like you said, by week 2, he should have won over Corbin when you first put him with Boogs. He should have won. Then he should have, if you want to do it the next week or the next time they had a match, he should have won again. And, if you wanted to have him win a 3rd time, whatever, but then he should have moved on. And that's when he moves on to Apollo Crews. Yeah. That's when he moves on to something else. Not Corbin wins, then Nakamura wins, but then Corbin wins, but then Nakamura takes the crown and hits the Kinshasa. So did Corbin even really win anyway? And does anybody care? Because Corbin isn't a legitimate heel. Corbin has, for, his entire WWE, main roster run, has been a mid-card loser joke heel. He's never been serious. NXT, he was a little bit serious, a little bit more serious, a little bit more of a threat. But, he wasn't no Brock Lesnar. He wasn't the Fiend, at least when the Fiend first debuted, not at the end with Alexa Bliss and all that bullshit. But, he wasn't anywhere near that level. So, even when Nakamura wins, it's like, okay, you're beating a loser. So that doesn't really make you that legit. So I don't know. I don't like this.
He got the crown back. Corbin got the crown back. Then Shinsuke gets the crown. They're fighting over a crown.
That's what I mean. It's just so bad.
That's just the worst thing that you can do to Shinsuke Nakamura, like you said, because you love Shinsuke. We all do. We want to love the guy. We want him, like, to be pushed. And when we feel that, like, hey, they put a guitar player with him, okay, they finally give him another opportunity. He can be main event again. No. King Corbin completely destroys that thought. And again, they can do this so much better, but they put the crown in between the two of them. And why am I supposed to believe that, like, this crown is something to fight for? I can go, to any, like, store and buy one similar, and is it gonna get me excited about this? No. So again, he gets the crown back, and Boogs, Hooks, Boobs, whatever. Like, he loses even the guitar. They don't have money, like, to have it right there. So, like, he's playing like an invisible guitar. Is it fun? Not anymore. And they're going to have another match next week, so that's even worse, right?
Yeah, and like you said, they're fighting over the crown. Who cares? Oh, because he's the king of the ring, and he's the king of strong style. They want to find out who the real king is. No, that doesn't mean anything. If you're gonna maybe build, I don't know. Are you gonna do a King of the Ring tournament? If you're not, like a pay-per-view kind of, or just a tournament like you did, 2 years ago, whatever that was when Corbin won it. Why are you still toting a title from a tournament that hasn't happened in how long? Yes. I don't understand why this feud is even happening, like you said, and we're gonna see it next week, and it's bad.
And like, the main problem, like you said, is like, if they keep acknowledging the King of the Ring thing, if they're not gonna do anything with it, don't even mention it. Nobody cares. The last King of the Ring that probably did something with it was Brock Lesnar. It was probably like, Kurt Angle, Edge. That's when it actually meant something.
They need to make it a pay-per-view. Okay, you can still have a championship match with Roman Reigns. You can still throw that on there. You can maybe do a match Drew and Lashley if you want to, and then have the rest of the women, or not even, Drew and Lashley, like whatever, if it would be taking place now, whatever. But then just have the rest of the tour or the pay-per-view be the tournament.
Yeah, that's what they used to do. Yeah. Remember, towards the end, this would be like quarterfinal, semifinal, and the end. That was it. And at least you give the winner, what do we always say? When you have a tournament, what do they need at the end? Championship opportunity. That way, at least, you understand the importance of winning.
To me, they should have it in June, It should be the pay-per-view in June. Then you do another pay-per-view if you want in July. And
Like
then if you
Money
do,
in the Bank, whatever.
yeah, and then if you do SummerSlam in August, it can be whoever wins Money in the Bank. They're going to be challenging whoever not Money in the Bank, excuse me, King of the
like
Ring.
the King of the Ring.
Yeah, then they can challenge. Yeah, exactly.
And then you have even your whole feud already because you have Money in the Bank in the middle, and then you can like play something, and then SummerSlam is like the big bout. That's why you finish the feud. But no, King Corbin goes and complains. He's like, "Oh, I want my crown back because I'm the King of the Ring." Who cares? Unfortunately, this guy again. We always say this because it's not like sounding a broken record, but the guy has a lot of talent because the moves that he does, he is really skillful when it comes to delivering like good moves. But unfortunately, if you're presenting the guy like crap, I'm never gonna get behind the guy, even though the End of Days is a badass finisher. Even Div 6 is great. I'm never gonna get behind this guy because he was never throughout his career, like you mentioned, he's never been, portrayed serious, and he's never had a meaningful feud. Somebody tell me like one feud that he's actually looked good. Not even with Roman Reigns when he fought for like 7 months in a row. That didn't even look good because he always lost. So that's
exactly.
That's everything, this guy has no credibility whatsoever. Just know that he's a glorified jobber. That's all he is. Unfortunately, that's all he is. So let's move on to the next one, and then you see this interaction between the Usos. And finally, Jay broke down Paul. He breaks down. He's like, hey, like Jimmy says, it doesn't matter about your title. You have changed completely, this past year because you have kidnapped my brother. You're not for anything for me, Roman. You're just a big athlete, but you're a great champion. But, pretty much, I don't care about you. You're just a bitch to me. So, like, he says that, and then Jay's like, no, I'm out. He doesn't care anymore. He leaves. So you see, like, these interactions, and then also, like, he starts, like, to say, like, you're the older brother. You should be the one taking care of him, making sure that he's main event, help him out to keep developing himself. I'm doing that, but you just don't think about that. You just think about yourself. So you're the problem because you're the one that is taking it away from the family. So he also gets mad and he leaves. So the storyline carries on. And, everything that they say, like you said, the interactions are really, really cool, are so real. And that's why everybody's invested in this.
Yeah, and then what was the one thing, too? Roman's the one who's turning Jay against Jimmy. Jimmy only wants to be in the tag team with Jay, be the Usos again, win gold, whatever. Roman's the one who's jealous. He wants to be the head of the table. He doesn't want anyone to outshine him.
Yes.
But instead of it being clear as day like that, instead of them seeing it for what it is, he twisted both of them to where Jay doesn't know who he wants to believe. He doesn't want to hear Roman. He doesn't want to hear Jimmy. He runs away. And now he made Jimmy feel bad when it's not even Jimmy's fault. So again, we see that master manipulator of Roman, and you even see when Jimmy walks away, Roman's expression, he just kind of goes back to that angry demeanor. But right before that, he was almost breaking down. He was showing a lot of emotion and everything. So it's like, was he really feeling it, or was it all just, a head game?
It's just part, like for me, at least, it's part of the master plan. It's like you said, I want to be champion. I want to be the leader. So like I gotta just pretend. I gotta push some buttons. I gotta just like twist. I'm like the master.
Because it's not like the Undisputed Era where Adam Cole wanted all them to be draped in gold. He wanted all them to be even. No, Roman wants to be up here and everyone else is down here.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's like the boss, and then just the peasants. They're like the mates right there. Like they just like they work for him. Like they're the slaves. While they're like like you said, Adam Cole wanted like everything. It was more like he's like the group. He cared about the whole group. Roman is just more about himself. So like you see that, and it's a good interaction. We'll see what like maybe they can play a factor into the match if they actually confirm for like Hell in a Cell, because Mysterio comes out and he calls him out. He's like, Roman, I just want to talk to you. You need to come out. I'm going to address you because you hurt my kid. I'm pissed off. I'm just pissed off father. I want to hear what you have to say. And then just Rey Mysterio had like a pretty good line, really good promo, and he just says, I want you inside Hell in a Cell for the Universal Championship. So really cool. And this is the one thing, though, like they start to beat up each other because all of a sudden the candlestick shows up. Paul, I don't know how that happened, but the one thing, and I'll then you can just like let me just finish this thought quick. Why does both of the tag champions get beat up by one man?
No, I mean, technically when Dominic showed up, I'm like, oh, isn't he supposed to be really beat up? But he's obviously coming out there to help his dad. But then they said Roman catches him, pretty much throws him over the ring. The way the camera angle did it, they probably had a crash pad there. But, when Roman threw him, cool, yeah, I mean, at least they did the camera angle to hide it, so now it just adds, I mean, to me, it adds a lot more heat. like you said, oh, that Roman, like you're looking at it from a standpoint where it's a fake fight, it's not real. So why did two guys, have to lose to one? It buries them. But if you try to look at it from like a standpoint where it's like, okay, you kind of forget that. You're like, man, Roman, he beat up this guy's injured son. Now I'm really gonna want to see Rey Mysterio kick his ass at the pay-per-view. Like that's kind of how you have to look at it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why Dominic came out. Maybe he could have tried to like beat up Rey, and then Rey hits him with the kendo stick, and then maybe Roman just retreats, or like Rey has to retreat or something. But at least both guys kind of stand tall, But not, I mean, hey,
the one
it was
also, Paul, like you mentioned, is like Dominic should have sold the injury a little more. Not show up maybe till like Hell in a Cell. That would have been better. I feel
exactly. Even if somehow Dominic gets in the cell, and then Roman does almost the same thing like he did with Jimmy and Jay, where maybe he's beating up Dominic, but then Rey fights back, and then because technically Dominic could help, and then like you said, then the Usos get involved. I know it's the same thing. We're like, oh, how many times do we want to see screwy finishes? We want to see either Roman win clean or lose clean, but I mean, this is a feud where there's a lot of people involved, so I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of interference.
And in this kind of things that you always mention when we do the reviews, it makes sense. Especially because Hell in a Cell is what? It's no DQ. So like it doesn't matter whether like you have
that and let's be honest, nobody sees Dominic. Nobody sees Rey Mysterio winning this match. Nobody exactly. The main thing is I don't even know what the main thing is. I don't really think it's Cesaro. I honestly don't know. I think it's who knows.
Making them look good, just to keep progressing the feud, because again, they're still the tag champs, and you have the Usos there. So the Usos won what? The tag team championships. So like everything is still in that same pot, in that same mix.
Yeah.
Like it's just going to focus into like, hey, I won Roman, but I don't forget that like at some point they're going to challenge for my title too. So I'm going to have to do it. And in the end, Roman Reigns beat both of them up, and they both of them look done. So that's the only thing. Again, to me, like if you want to make sure that like Rey looks good, at least get this week the upper hand. I don't care if like in next week before the pay-per-view you get beat up and anything, but at least in this week it was supposed to be a solid week for Rey. And especially both of them are attacking Roman. He should be, be able to get his ass kicked by two men. So that's the only thing that I didn't like that too much. But in the end, this is what we saw. Both of the Mysterios get done, pretty much get their asses kicked by the tribal chief, head of the table, Roman Reigns. It's not official, but I think in the next couple of days it will be official inside Hell in a Cell. Hey, Rey Mysterio, like it's been a while that we haven't seen him. I'm not that sure if he's actually been in Hell in a Cell. So that's a good like detail to actually find out if he's been in a Hell in a Cell match before. He's been in cage matches, but I don't think he's been in like a Hell in a Cell match. So that will be something to look forward to. So your thoughts before we go, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this match, and especially because it has that, and I feel it kind of like what we just said. It kind of softens it by seeing Dominic. But it still has that emotional story, Rey's fighting for his son. But I do think Dominic showing up really did kind of like, like it took a lot of, wind. It took a lot of wind out of that sail, because it's like, oh, well, how beat up is your son if he's, already here, if he came back already. But, I'm still looking forward to this match. I think it'll be good. It's just, I'm just trying to think ahead right now. What do they do after this?
Oh, yeah, well, then it's probably Cesaro. Well, they said SummerSlam is going to be John Cena. Most likely they're trying to have him John Cena. Because supposedly his schedule is freeing up. So it's going to be John Cena because they want to have, a big SummerSlam. The supposedly SummerSlam for WWE is going to be what WrestleMania was supposed to be. Makes sense? They're going to try, because there's going to be more people. It's going to be like 72,000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
COVID is finally opening up. It's finally a thing of the past. Please, let's hope that everybody else in the world like feels the same way. So like they want to try to do really big things with this. Brock Lesnar not confirmed yet. And also talking about Brock Lesnar, Paul, don't you think that this reminds you of like the Survivor Series when like Mysterio and Dominic kind of like fought Lesnar? Like it has the same vibe, he's a big dude,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Champion. So like if they will do like the double 619 and then the splashes, I wouldn't be so surprised if they actually go that way. So family, this is what we have for all of you. Thank you so very much for being with us. Thank you to Doug Masters, to Libel, to also our friend Stephen Butler, everybody that's been watching, everybody that's been supporting the videos. 10 people away from the 1,000. Help us out, tomorrow. Yeah, there you go. Like the perfect 10. Not like Sal Dillinger, not like the chairman, Sean Spears, none of that, Please help us out, subscribe, help us, to get to that number. And tomorrow, don't forget, Jean-Paul and myself absolutely live after the pay-per-view goes off the air. Kenny Omega against Moose, for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship against All Us tomorrow. Really cool pay-per-view, a lot of good matches, more storyline progressing out to this rivalry. Report just came out today that Kenny Omega has been dealing with like a lot of injuries. He cut himself, like he got a cut in his hand when he actually beat Pac with the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. He has like a disc that has been bothering him, but yet he's gonna actually give us a great match. And Paul, this match is actually gonna be at the Daily's place where they shoot Dynamite. So they changed the ruling of this, and whoever wins after this is going to challenge Sami Callihan at Slammiversary. So there you go. Maybe, hopefully, Moose gets the Impact World Heavyweight Championship and brings it back to like the Impact guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think he needs to. He has to. And I'm really looking forward to it just because, Omega, if anything, he brought the Impact title down. He made it feel worse. And, a lot of people don't like Impact, so you're probably thinking, how could he make it worse? Well, watch Rope Break's review of Dynamite to find out exactly how.
Yeah, well, like the main issue when it comes to that is just like he has never treated that title like he's like a big.
Yeah, no.
It's another prop, like for me, always like, oh, you have 2 belts, no, but like the AEW is the one that counts. If I lose this one, or like for example, if they will tell you, Jean Paul, you have both of the belts, AEW and Impact. Which one will you every single day put on the line? Impact. Why? Because I don't care to lose that one. But if I will never put in, this one. So thank you so very much, every single one of you. We'll see you tomorrow. Where else can they find us?
And make sure you follow us, Rope Break, on Facebook, OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
One more thing that is left to say. That is...